to deliver high quality, high impact, compliant service. You can learn more about them by visiting them online at peakrevenuelearning.com. Joining me today is Greg Ruffino from Williams & Fudge. Greg, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you sharing your time and your insights to help the industry better understand how to deal with different scenarios that collectors often face. All right, the scenario I want to give to you today is a consumer offers to pay the debt, but only on the condition that it be deleted from his or her credit report. I'll pay it, but you got to delete it from my credit report. What should a collector do?
That's a great question, Mike, and thanks for having me on again. I love participating and collaborating with you and your audience. So this question should be under the category of a red flag or the hot topics that in this industry tend to lead to increase of litigation opportunities for the consumer attorneys, and third parties. So anything along the lines of credit reporting or credit-based questions, third-party disclosure, attorney involvement, bankruptcy, disputes, and maybe a few other items are really the hot button items that you need to make sure that your staff is equipped and confident to handle. So speaking of that, before the collector even says anything in regard to that question or scenario, I would advise that you should have a structure set up where there's some kind of a scripting or playbook model that your collector might be able to read off of or use as a resource to give a direct quote answer to some of these potential questions that we know might come. That is a very potential common question that says, I want to pay this only if you delete it. I'll pay it if you delete it. I should be presented on my screen or in front of me with something that is saying, hey, if the consumer says X, that statement, here is your reply. Or the other side of that would be making sure that your collection staff understands that ding, 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 this is a hot button item, and you're either going to be very confident and knowledgeable and use the scripting or your confidence to answer this directly, or just play it safe and say, hey, anyone that brings up these levels of credit reporting questions and pay for deletions, let's just right away get that to a specific manager or specific staff to handle. But all that being said, if it comes time for the collector to speak, first and foremost, this is going to get involved with your company's specific policies. I can speak on my company policy, but not yours. So I'll use mine super quick. In my world here, as a third-party agency to our creditors, our vendors, if we are doing credit reporting, we are only reporting it while that file is active in our office. And as soon as that file leaves our office for any reason whatsoever, payment, or we ran out of time, whatever the case is, we will stop credit reporting it as a third-party collection agency. But what you want to be very clear is from the collection side is you should give no insinuation, you should not agree, you should not acknowledge that any payment is being taken with the condition that we would then go ahead and delete the credit reported item. It needs to be made very, very clear, sir or ma'am, you are going to pay this bill because it is owed. Our creditor is asserting that it is owed, and we are helping them recover that. And as a part of the process and as a part of the procedure, one of the things we will do once the payment is made and it leaves our office is we would submit a deletion request, if that is the policy that you do. So the point being is I will not agree if the consumer says, if I pay this, will you delete it? Now, maybe that is what happens as a part of the process, but I am not saying, yes, we will delete it if you pay it. What we will do, sir, ma'am, is I will apply the payment you're asking me to do. Once the file and the payment is taken, the file is closed. As a part of our processes in handling these items, we will have a deletion request submitted, if that is what you do. And at the end of the day, if that is something you don't do, that's not part of your policy, then you have to straight tell them, sir or ma'am, this is what our policy is. I'm happy to take your payment today. Of course, I'm happy to do that. But as a part of our process, this is going to happen or this is not going to happen. And perhaps I can get you to my manager. But it's about knowing what your policy is, having a resource or a reference structure for your collector, whether that's something for them to recite or for them to transfer to the position of authority and knowledge in your office. But I never, under any circumstances, want to agree or acknowledge that we are taking your payment for the agreement that we will delete it. I'm taking your payment because it is owed. And if part of our process and policy is to delete it, it's because that's part of our process and policy, not because you paid it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for clarifying and providing some important ideas in context to this, like you mentioned, this this situation that comes up often for collectors. So, Greg, thanks for sharing today. Appreciate you being a part of Training Bytes.
Thank you, Mike. As always, take care.
All right, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate your participation. Stay tuned. We'll be back with another episode of Training Bytes soon.